Three Demons, Book 1, Chapter 12, Rhea's Freedom. It's been 48 hours since the conclusion of the battle between lords. Since then, Randy has been in a coma, being treated at the clubhouse, where there is a bed he is lying at. Asuka, being next to him, uses her healing abilities to hopefully speed up the recovery process, and hopefully cause Randy to awaken from the coma. "How's it looking, Asuka?" Rhea asks with a very concerned tone in her voice. Asuka has a sad look on her face. "I keep trying to use my power to wake him up, but it doesn't look like anything's working. I don't know when Randy will wake up." Ava puts her hand on Rhea's shoulder as she looks down at Randy. Suddenly, Kazuto calls out for the three as someone has just showed up unannounced to the clubroom. Once the three reach the living quarters, they see Mochi standing there, bandaged up from his fight with Randy. "Looks like the pervert did a number on you, lizard boy." Kitsune mocks Mochi. Mochi looks over at Kitsune with an enraged look on his face. Mochi begins to walk towards Kitsune as Rhea and Ava both stand in his way. "What are you doing here, Mochi? You were beaten, meaning I'm no longer required to marry you." Rhea reminded Mochi of his failure. "Shut up, you dumb bitch. I'm actually here to fulfill my duty as a top-tier demon. To kill other demons who have gone feral," Mochi says with an evil grin on his face. Rhea's eyes widen. "You mean Randy? Of course, you saw what happened to him. He lost all sense of reality, attacking anything in front of him, with the intent to kill. I was also informed he was going to harm both you and that rejected nun over there. Now what do you call that, Lady Rhea?" Mochi asks, knowing Rhea won't be able to have a valid response. "If you're wanting to get Randy, you're going to have to get through the rest of us," Kazuto tells Mochi as he jumps into the conversation. "Oh, please, before that pest went feral, you were all on your way to a loss. I might be weakened right now, but even then, I can still easily defeat every single one of you," Mochi threateningly responds as his demonic aura begins to engulf the room. Everyone prepares to a fight against Mochi when suddenly a dark portal appears beside them all. A man dressed in a white button-up shirt, black tie, coastal blue-colored vest, black dress pants, and black dress shoes, his head being surrounded by a cage-like brace with blue flames coming out of it, only leaving two bright yellow places where his eyes are. "Lord Hades?" Mochi exclaims, dropping down to one knee and bowing to the man in front of him. Rhea speaks up. "Father, what are you doing here? Of all the time to show up, I swear." "From my understanding, Plan B had to be enacted, since, as expected, Rhea, you were unwilling to marry Sir Mochi. However, what I wasn't expecting is for you to actually win your freedom back. I'm both impressed as a god and proud as a father," Hades tells Rhea with a very proud tone in his voice. Hades then looks down at Mochi with a sharp glare in his eyes. "I also understand that you are taking the loss very hard, aren't you, Mochi?" Hades asks Mochi. Mochi struggles to respond as Hades' presence is causing him to have trouble responding. "But Lord Hades, one of her slaves had become feral during the fight." "Silence!" Hades screams at Mochi. "I promise if that boy did become feral, Rhea would have handled it herself. She doesn't need someone else to handle it for her, especially someone who isn't her husband." Hades continues, staring daggers through Mochi. "Now I suggest you leave before I'm forced to ask you out myself," Hades threatens Mochi. Mochi grits his teeth, but he obliges and leaves as he comes. As Hades is beginning to leave, Rhea stops him. "Father, why did you force this marriage through, without even consulting if it was okay with me?" Rhea asks Hades, understandably frustrated. Hades turns back and looks at Rhea. However, he turns back forward as he is about to leave through his portal. He tells her, "You should go check on your servant." Rhea has a stunned look for a moment before she turns to the room Randy is resting in and begins to rush in to check on him. As she looks into the room, she sees Randy beginning to sit up, holding the back of his head. Randy looks up at Rhea and then looks around at his surroundings. "Where the hell am I?" Randy asks, very confused. With tears in her eyes, Rhea runs up towards Randy and throws herself at him, burying her face into his chest. Randy winces in pain as he is still recovering from the fight against Mochi. "What the hell are you doing?" Randy asks Rhea as she looks up at him. Randy and Rhea both look at each other for a moment before Rhea embraces Randy with a kiss. Alter switch to Jake. Rhea pulls away from the kiss as she sees Jake with a huge blush on his face as well as a smile. Jake then goes unconscious again, but with a smile on his face this time. End of Book 1.